Coffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. The headline news today comes from the sack race on Twitter, and that's that Jose Mourinho is now odds on to be the next Everton manager. This one's a bit of a weird one, if I'm going to be completely honest. He is the bookies' favourite, and I think it's 8 to 11 odds, which is around 58% implied possibility, basically meaning, according to them, there's a 58% chance he becomes the manager, and that's compared to second best Graham Potter, who's currently got 17%. But I'd take this with a pinch of salt if I was going to be honest with you. It seems like we get linked to Mourinho quite a lot, and it never happens. He's the bookies' favourite, but there's no actual links. It's just hearsay and fans putting together that Mourinho's a former Roma manager. So that means the Friedkins are apparently going to want him, even though in reality Mourinho has slagged the Friedkin group off before. He has said he wants to come back to the Premier League, and I don't know, I think his chances of getting a shot at a club like Newcastle or something are probably in the bin right now, considering how good Eddie Howe's doing. Maybe West Ham, which is probably a bit of a more ideal project than us, depending on what you see, because there's a lot more money. The club's currently in a much better position than us. But of course, then there is the summer. But is he going to want to work with a group that he's actively gone and slagged off before? I wouldn't get your hopes. We have run a poll on Twitter, and that's if Everton were to sack Sean Dyche, would you welcome a move for Jose Mourinho as manager? 64% said yes, 14% said no, and 22% said... 14% said maybe, and 22% said no. Those may not add up percentage-wise, but that's just me rounding up. And that's from 4,400 votes, by the way. So thank you all for voting. I'd be happy with it. Even though I know the volatile nature of Mourinho and that he probably would end up walking out on the job as soon as the fans give him too much stick. I think it's one where Mourinho probably could get a good tune out of the squad in a similar fashion to like you saw a manager like Callum Ancelotti do. But it is one of those where it'd be a drastic change at the club, and maybe that is what they need going into a new era. But it's one of those things where, is it too much of a risk to have someone as volatile as Jose Mourinho? But at the same time, it is someone the fans are going to love because he has that same nature as the fan base. So it is an interesting one. We'll have to see how it develops, but take that 58% implied possibility with very bated breath, and I wouldn't waste your money betting on Mourinho to be the next Everton manager. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The next bit of news comes from Caught Offside, and that's Everton and Leicester City are in talks to sign Brighton midfielder Yakubu this transfer window. Moda's an interesting one. He's only played 3 games for Brighton this season, and he's a decent player, technically gifted, I'd say really fast on the ball. Defensive numbers are really good for his position, but it's one of those where I don't think we should prioritise in central midfield to be honest with you. I think we should be looking at other places first before we're even thinking about looking at central midfield / attacking midfield. But I think his contract's up this summer, and again, it depends on the price. If he's available for dirt cheap, I can understand why the club would do it. Hopefully that means we're still signing Mangala, and we're going to need a Decore and an Idrissa replacement, as they're both getting up there in age, so I can't understand why we'd be interested in someone like Moda. And again, it depends on the price, but he is quite injury prone, and I think the last problem we need is getting more players who are going to get injured, since it seems like a constant every season that we're just getting a barrage of injuries at one point in the season. So bringing in someone who's quite known for getting injured, it's going to be interesting. If there are any Brighton fans watching this video, let us know your opinions on Moda down below. If you have seen enough of him, again, just let us know what you think down below. But it is one of those where it shouldn't be a priority signing unless it's a bargain price. And we've got a double coming from the Daily Mail up next, and that's that. We probably saw this on the last news video we did, and that's that Everton have revived their interest in signing Jadon PHILOGENE from the summer after missing out on him to Aston Villa. It looks like Aston Villa are ready to sanction a deal, and it is quite understandable. I think he's been frustrating to Villa fans. Of course, there's the double yellow into a red, but there's so much talent there. You saw at Hull, the Puskas Award winning goal, I think it won, but it should have won anyway. But the dribbling ability, the technical ability, it's something we really need, and it's like going from a Nissan Micra to an Audi on the right wing if we're going to compare PHILOGENE and Jack Harrison. He is left-footed, and I've seen that raise a few eyebrows, but again, if we can get a decent overlapping right back, that won't be a problem at all, to be completely honest with you. So I think it's one of those where PHILOGENE should be a priority. We desperately need a right wing. I think it's the most important position we do need, because at the end of the day, Jack Harrison has been horrendous this season, and you've seen it. He cost us 4 points in back-to-back games against Chelsea and Man City. So I think it's one of those where the club has to make a move to replace him, and if I'm going to be completely honest, send him back to Leeds. So I think it's one of those where hopefully we can get that done, and I think it'd be a really interesting one, because I do think he probably needs the move, and I even then I felt like at the time Villa were only really getting rid of him because of the fact that Villa were only re-signing him because of the fact that other teams wanted him, and it was for them it's easy profit to sign him and then sell him again in the January. So yeah, we will have to see how it goes. I do think this is one that's probably going to take a while, because I think Villa are going to purposely stall this one out until after the game with them next week. Everton may have... The next bit of news comes from Tutto Mercato, by the way, and that's that Everton may have scuppered a deal to sell Betto to Torino due to their monster demands. The Italian club have reportedly decided to look towards other targets after the Blues refused to listen to offers below £16.6 million. Betto agreed to move to Torino, but is now waiting. Okay, I don't really care. Like I said, the thing of him at the airport, don't take that into too much when I was up. But yeah, it's okay. All our strikers are injured now currently anyway, so he was probably going to have to stay for a bit longer anyway. We will probably end up accepting lower than 16.6 million. I don't think we're going to have a choice if we want to get rid of him. But I don't think it's a huge loss that Torino don't want to, Torino don't want to sign him. There's clearly interest from other clubs out in Italy, and we'll have to see. They may change their mind if they're not able to get another striker in later in the window. It may be a thing where they end up coming back and deciding to sign him, because I do think he's probably going to have to play the rest of January unless we end up signing someone. And the last bit of news today is that Tyler Onyango has returned to Everton after being recalled on his loan from Stockport County following a hamstring injury. He didn't really play much for Stockport. I think it was 7 games what I saw on a Stockport team that are doing really well, by the way. I think they're probably planning on just keeping him around, maybe having him on the bench playing in the under-21s before sanctioning a loan next season. I don't think he's at the level where I want to see him coming on in games. If you're not playing for Stockport, then it means you probably need another loan to a mid-table League One side. Stockport are doing really well, and I think that's what they were expected to be. But of course, they've blown expectations out the water. But it is going to be weird with them, considering they've just lost Louis Barry as well, back to Aston Villa. So we'll have to see where that goes. But it's one of those where hopefully Onyango can recover quickly, maybe get another... Or it's not as bad as we thought, and he can maybe get another loan at the end of the month, because I do think we need to be giving these players a chance to develop out on loan. But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow me on Twitter at Callum3. And I'll see you all for the next video and or live stream that I am on. Goodbye, everyone.